show how much this win means to these fans.
Yeah, 100%. I think throughout the game you can see how much energetic we was. We fought for every battle, every ball, and I'm happy we got the win for them. Look at the crowd, it's amazing. They give us this energy every single game, so we appreciate it and we try and do the best we can every game for them.
Your goal, your 5th Premier League goal of the season, turned out to be the winner. We're going to show it to you now, because in this battle to achieve Champions League football, how important, how big is that goal, Callum?
Yeah, I think it's important, of course. I think every game that we play in is very difficult, and we know to the last games of the season, we're going to have to fight for every single game, you know what I mean? So I'm absolutely buzzing with the goal. I'm happy for the team at the end of the day. It's not just me, it's the whole team's performance. We worked hard and we deserved it, so we're buzzing for the win, and I hope we can enjoy it now, but we have to recover and go again next week.
That's got to be one of the passes of the season from Morgan Gibbs-White.
100%. Every time I tell him, just look for me, look for me, look for me, and he found me. So he knows he's got that quality, he's a special player, so I'm happy for the pass, and I said, buzzing with the win.
Before you scored that goal, you came close as well. I saw you bust a gut down the line to keep the ball in the build-up, but Edison saves it and it goes onto the post.
Yeah, definitely a good save. Obviously, as I said for myself, it was a shot that I thought went in, and I see him put a hand to it and he hit the post, so unfortunate, but I knew I'd get another chance, and I said this one went in, so I'm buzzing.
That's the thing, now you are so close. It must feel like you're getting so much closer with every point you take, every win you get, to achieving European football for the first time since 1995.
Yeah, definitely. We know the position we're in, but as I said, every game's important. We've got to make sure that we fight every game and keep getting points on the board. And as I said, today was another important game that we got the 3 points. So I said it's now time to recover, enjoy the moment, and then go again next week.
This atmosphere in here is something else. You've got 5 more home games in the Premier League to go. How important are these fans going to be in getting you over the line?
They give us, as I said to you, they give us this energy every single game, and we believe in them and they believe in us. So at the end of the day, we've got to keep performing as much as we can for them. And as I said, it's a brilliant day for us, so we're going to keep going and hopefully many more games like this here as well.
Callum, well done. You're today's player of the match. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you very much, Jules. A huge goal for Callum Hudson-Odoi in that race for Champions League football. Forest staying 3rd place in the Premier League. More reaction on the way on this game. And also the live sport continues on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus. Alongside me pitch side, and we're delighted to say Ola Aina is with us as well. Good to see you, Ola. How big does that win feel in that race for Champions League?
It's massive for us. Obviously, we knew City were hot on our tails, and we needed to, get a result here, and thankfully we did, so it was a massive result.
You spoke about that battle with Doku in the reverse fixture. You said you didn't want to give you nightmares.
Yeah.
How did you see that battle today?
It's still tough, He's very direct. He's a tricky player. I was telling him on the pitch as well. I was like, he needs to chill, man. You get me, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, he's a tough opponent, and it's one that I like to come up against and test myself, and I'm sure he likes to test himself against me.
So how did you prepare different? Obviously, you've stated that he was the toughest opponent you faced.
Yeah.
So how did you prepare different further to the Etihad leg? I
got more sleep. That's one of them. I got more sleep. But you know what it is? I prepare the same. I'm the type of person that I give my best, and whatever happens, happens. So. Yeah, it was a good one today.
What a performance! Oh my gosh, I wanted to get it just for that. Defensively, 1v1, pushing him the other. What you said before the game, tough game against him. You had to perform against the best teams. Yeah. How do you feel after that, man? I'm repeating the question.
Yeah, you repeated. Get down quicker, Rio.
Unreal. So you must be happy with that, though.
I am, man. It was tough. Like I said to the guys here, it's one that I like to relish, and I look forward to. He got the better of me sometimes. I got the better of him, so. It was a good one.
And what about that goal from Callum? But firstly, how good is that ball from Morgan?
I can't even remember it. I was
He's worried about Doku. That's all he's thinking.
I'm saying I was blowing. Like I got the tackle here. Look at me.
Bang.
Blowing. But
you're out of position.
Yeah, I was even walking back. But that's a good ball, And yeah, Callum does what he does best. Oh, sir, does what he does best, and
it's a great. Once he got this ball, you just knew it was going there. Well, look, bang.
Yeah, it's a great ball, man. It's a great
Gets
ball.
Gets him 1v1.
As strong as Doku is, Callum is equally a strong 1v1.
You know what I mean? And I was expecting him to come on the inside, but he done the outside, done him.
What's that do for you guys going forward now? This place, you can see it's like a carnival atmosphere after the game. What does that do for you?
Look at this joke, man.
Bro, what's going on,
bro?
bro?
What you want to get involved? Get involved then.
Come and get involved.
Come and stand there.
Yeah.
Just loaded over there.
Match you now.
Yeah,
Try to take
What-
my mic.
Right. Question, what you got?
How many eggs you eating tonight? None. sorry. But Callum, look, can we get that on the screen again? Is it possible?
Yeah, let's
Talk
bring it in again.
us through the goal. Once the ball comes to Morgan's, gets it out, White gives White, gets it to you. What are you thinking right now as you touch that ball?
I think just myself to be positive. I think obviously you see the opportunity for a 1v1. You just got to get at him and just make sure that you get your shot off. I told Woody I saw him in the box as well, so before he tried to get angry, I saw him in the box, but I thought to myself, it's a one-on-one opportunity. I'm in acres of space, let me just get at him and get my shot off.
When did you make up your mind to go outside? Because I was thinking you're going inside, so you would have done
He's
him.
getting inside, you know.
No, I was going to go inside, but I see Guardiola backing off a lot, so I said to myself, as soon as he changed position, I was like, cool, I've got the opportunity to go on my stronger foot and get the shot off, which, as I said, it kind of outside the keeper's vision, so yeah, that's why I went outside and got the shot off.
I asked Ola before the game, does he feel like he's playing his best football? This is the best I've seen him playing. This is up there with the best that I've seen you play, consistency-wise as well. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I think for myself, it's just every game I'm going in, I'm confident. I think that's what the most important is for me. I think at times, there was times where I was just not being myself and not being confident, but I feel like I've been getting that confidence back game in, game out, and as I said, the opportunity keeps coming where we've got to just keep doing that on a consistent basis, which is the most important. So.
And does that confidence come from you guys, or is the manager installing that in your game?
Sir, thank you. I think it's both. I think in ourselves, we know that we've got the ability to do it, but it's just making sure that we're doing it on a consistent basis. And I think we drive ourselves every day. As I said, like, me and him always talk every day about how we're doing, how things are going, what can we improve and what we can't improve on. So, end of the day, there's so much to improve on as myself individually, and as I said, as a team. So the manager gives us so much belief, and we're going to keep using that every day.
Is that excitement starting to creep in, though, about the Champions League?
Have you seen the
Are you
Snapchat
not
accounts?
even letting
Jesus.
Don't even watch them. Nah, listen, I think we just got to stay humble. No matter what it is, like, we know the position we're in, but there's still a lot of games to go to the end of the season. So it's about staying humble, driving ourselves, and as I said, trying to get as much points on the board as possible.
Stay humble. Someone said that earlier in the season, isn't it? Stay humble.
I don't know. I heard Kendrick say it.
But you know what? You know that what we see in the change room, all you guys on social media, the laughs, the vibrant atmosphere that you guys are creating, is that on all the time? Is that genuine? Is that genuinely like whenever someone will see this, these vibes the guys have got? It's not just on the camera; it's off the camera too.
All the time. It's 24/7, and to be fair, I think a group like ours, we need it. You know, it keeps the positivity. You know, whether we get results or we don't, you know, it keeps the positive mindset in and around the training ground and in the team. So yeah, it's 24/7, and you know, him, myself, we make sure that it's always high.
And Joe Cole and Peter Crouch saw that themselves as well. They came training with you guys this week. What was it like having them there?
Yeah, I don't know. They played head tennis with them.
I think for myself, I just take game by game. I think no matter what decision happens, if I get picked, if I don't, I just got to make sure I keep remaining and doing what I'm doing on a consistent basis. And then that will come, do you know what I mean? So for myself, just taking game by game, and hopefully you never know what happens.
Oh, cool. He's on the right track, man. He's on the right track.
Definitely. What do you think of his interview skills?
He's the funniest.
He did all right.
I'm surprised he didn't have his Ribena though.
Do you know what they told me?
They didn't like to ring it in.
Don't bring it on camera. I said, oh, I have to back you.
No, you want sponsorship first, and then bring it.
And then
on.
bring
There's other black common drinks available.
Guys, thank you both
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
so much. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
lovely
you
to
so
see
much.
Thank you very
well
much.
done.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Oh,
I'd love that energy, man. I love the
such
energy.
good spirits, great energy here. A big win for Forest today here against Manchester City in that, but it keeps them third in the Premier League. Rio, how much do you think they deserved that win today?
I think they were worthy, definitely. And I don't think there were too many people surprised that they got something out of the game. Maybe to get 3 points, but I thought most people here who are supporting Nottingham Forest were like, you know, I think we can get something out of this game. Anyone I spoke to before the game, and it proved to be the case. And I think one thing they were built on today was being really, really difficult to break down. They were saying, listen, nothing through the middle of us. You can go around the sides and then we'll defend you 1v1 in fullback areas, and they were brilliant to a man in that respect. But as we've seen when we've come here throughout the season, they still remain a threat on the counter. And when you give them time and sometimes you give them space on the counter attack, and if they break quick and get you in 1v1 situations, they can be decisive. And today, Callum Hudson-Odoi was, when he got the opportunity, was decisive.
He must have been thinking it wasn't going to be his day, though, when Ederson made that brilliant save onto the post, Joleon.
Yeah, outstanding save. Again, a lot of bodies back for City, but Callum cuts in, and as I said, he was a thorn in the City side all day. But again, it's a great save, an amazing thing. And there's nothing he did wrong. He just was unfortunate not to go in because there's a lot of bodies there. And again, Ederson sees it so late, and there's no one anticipating the follow-up, so there was an opportunity to clear it.
So positive though, isn't he? Like getting the ball. Yeah. And I said earlier, in context, he looks so much more fitter now. And I think that's one thing he's been searching for, that fitness. The ability is not the question. The potential is not the question. He's been able to sustain the level that he can get to on a consistent basis through 90 minutes and through more games.
£3 million.
Oh,
What a bit of business.
Yeah, it's a steal. But again, I think the people here knew what they were buying, potentially. They just need to unlock that. And I think injuries played a big part in that. And I think it's not easy for a young player when you get knocked back and you're in the development stage of your career, early stages, to keep on going. But this has been a good place for him, I think, where, like you say, the change room's been great for him.
Rio Alanga the same, Chris Wood. There's a lot of players that wasn't necessarily wanted first choice at their previous clubs, but then they've come here and they've been given a platform to shine, and they're all living up to their potential, and hopefully can go on to the next level.
I'll tell you what's been a great thing for him, I think, which would be something I would feel that would unlock them as players even more. They're allowed to be themselves. No one's acting up here. No one's trying to be something that they're not. There's no big egos here. You can see the guys here when we're doing interviews. You don't mind holding the microphone and interviewing someone. It's just having a laugh. They are themselves, and then you get that out on the pitch and it reflects well on them.
Yeah, they're really expressing themselves sort of off the pitch and on it, aren't they? What about the game plan from the manager, though? How good was it, and how well did the players execute it, especially in that first half, the way they restricted City?
It was tough from both elements. The execution was obviously exceptional and equally important, but the recognition from the manager to say in the first half, to stay in the game, be compact, be diligent, defend deep, and they did that all first half. We'll see here the clips again, and as I said, I think on average they have the most players behind the ball out of possession, because they're comfortable doing that, because they know they can rely on their forward players to create moments of brilliance. But here now, we expected City to have possession. You have to go 1v1. They can do that because, like Rio said, the fullbacks especially, but the whole back four enjoy defending, and it's not often you see defenders that are better out of possession than in possession nowadays, and that's funny to say.
What I was impressed with, especially with the two fullback areas, at times there was space between them and the wide man, but as soon as the wide player got the ball, they engaged immediately and closed that space down and were aggressive.
But then put the brakes on. It's important to know the distances and not overcommit, because the moment you do that, especially with players like Duck and Savinho, they react faster than the opposition 9 times out of 10. But here the distances are, I want to cut it off, and also if it did get past them, they made it predictable for the teammate, which is equally as important.
And that gave them the platform to then go in that second half and get the goal, the way they kept it so tight in the first half.
Yeah, it keeps yourself in play. But here, look again, this is what you see all the time. So look, there's the owner, there's the guy, he's at the tunnel, congratulating every player. There's a real togetherness here, there's a real family environment. And we talk about being an old stadium and it generates a wonderful atmosphere. Yes, it does. But you need these components within to be able to knit it all together.
I'd congratulate them as well if they were going to bring Champions League money into the club as well.
They'll be getting more than pats on the back in a little while if they qualify, trust me.
Absolutely. OK, we're going to hear now from the Manchester City manager, Pep Guardiola, his side missing the opportunity today to leapfrog Nottingham Forest in the table. He's been speaking to Jules.
Pep, a disappointing result. What did you make of your team's performance?
That game, we controlled the transitions really well. We created not a lot of chances, but defend really well. By the first half, we have chances to shoot that were not precise, and at the end, one transition, and we lost the easy ball, and transition, they scored.
Why couldn't you find a way to score, even with the changes that you made in the second half?
No, it's everyone. It's not for the changes or the lineup.
Any reason for it?
For what?
Any reason why you couldn't find a way to score in terms of the flow of the game?
They defend really well, and we could not find, the precise in the last moment. We could not do it.
It seems that in past seasons, City have always seemed to find a way. So why is that different now?
We have 10 games to qualify. We have to win games to qualify, and we're going to the next one.
What did you make of your team's performance defensively?
We concede few. I think we concede, but really, really few. So defensively was really good. We were not, maybe the rhythm was not the highest one, but yeah, the game was tight.
It's the third time that Ruben Diaz and Kustanov have started a game together. I just wanted to know what you think of Kusanov's progress so far since you've been working with him?
Really well. But we don't have more players. But we played really well. Kusa for the time and Ruben as well.
In terms of what this match means, obviously it's a huge battle in the qualification for Champions League places. The season Forest are having, does it just go to show how much more difficult that's becoming in the Premier League?
We knew it. We knew it before we arrived, and of course the Champions League, the Premier League, every time, every season is better and better.
What positives can you take Pep into the next game against Brighton?
Well, we want to prepare the game. We have 10 finals, and next one we start.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
That's Manchester City's 9th defeat of this season, which is more than that they lost in the last 2 seasons combined, Rio. What didn't work?
I think they were quite slow in the way they were moving the ball about. I think some players were taking too many touches. And again, what you normally see with City in the wide areas, they either win their 1v1 duels, they didn't do that today, or they create overloads. And I don't think they got into those positions enough where they can isolate fullbacks and players on the pitch. They didn't do that enough to get the openings, to then have clear openings that we see. I don't think they had one real clear, real good opportunity. I mean, they hit the post, but it was a pop shot from long range.
Yeah, and one of the chances from Haaland was a mistake as well that led to that. Pep just spoke about them not being precise. How good did you think the chances were that they did have?
Yeah, there wasn't clear cut like Rio said, and I think they should have recognised that they were doubling up on the fullbacks. Then you need runners, then you need overloads, and they didn't really create enough to then create and unlock the Forest defence. But again, shooting from distance is probably the best chance, and I do believe that if it was on target, the keeper struggles. But again, they didn't create enough and utilise, for me, Phil Foden's matchup against Morgan Gibbs-White, because I felt, especially in the first half later on, Morgan was switching off only close to goal, not because he didn't want to do the work, but just because he's a forward-thinking player. But in regards to the chances, yeah, they didn't create enough opportunities to say, yeah, they should have scored.
I think you've got to give credit as well to Nuno and his team as well, because our question during that second half, would they have the energy, the capacity physically to continue to maintain this intensity? And they did, and that's the energy I think also you get from this crowd that feed those players. When the lactic acid's building in the legs and there's tiredness being created within these players, you need that 12th man we always talk about, and they are the fans, and they've done their job, and the players matched up with that.
It feels like there's more physical, fast teams than ever in the Premier League. Do you think their more sort of patient approach is struggling with that?
Potentially, but again, they've had possession, so it's probably not patient. It's just they're used to having possession and sustain attack, so then they're not having to transition back. And that has always been a thorn in City's side, and that's always been a frailty in regards to them conceding opportunities. But as you said, you're seeing more athletic teams recognising that and playing to their own strengths.
But it's also just, this isn't a City that we know that they're not as efficient and as effective as they have been in recent years. If they'd had that possession in games in years gone past, they probably pulverised Nottingham Forest, because they're clinical, they're creating the overloads and they're creating the 1v1s and being successful in those areas. Right now, things aren't going as smoothly and as plain as we've seen over the last couple of years, so they're giving up other teams opportunities in games when it gets late on to break them down and get chances, and it's being capitalised on today.
But also the form is allowing opposition teams not to be as conservative in their selection. Before, we would have seen this setup, and the same setup for Man City, same possession, but then do Forest play with 2 out-and-out wingers, probably thinking no, because they're going to have less possession.
Leaving them high up.
Yeah, and all of a sudden now you can be more positive and more creative because City are vulnerable at times.
Do they need Champions League in terms of the rebuild that they've got coming up in the summer?
Who, City?
I think the club needs it. Yeah. Of course you do. If you want to attract top quality players, you want to play in the Champions League. So
Pep will attract them anyway, though, won't he?
Of course he would. Of course he would, because they're still going to be competitive, regardless of if Champions League or not. They're still going to be one of the favourites to win the league, FA Cup, League Cup, if they're not in the Champions League or say Europa League. But in regards to attracting the elite players, it's Champions League football that is the attraction.
That's the only thing that Pep thinks about. He's never heard the other music. He's only ever heard Champions League music. He doesn't know what that is. He wouldn't know where he is.
He's like, what's all these orange signs everywhere?
Thursday nights aren't known to Pep.
He wouldn't understand how to kind of fathom that, and he's thinking, and he won't be thinking that. And I don't think they'll be expecting that from this team because of the quality they have and the experience they have.
Nuno's been able to keep a huge amount of stability in his starting lineup this season, used the fewest number of players. Man City have made 79 changes to their starting lineup this season, which is a huge number. How big a factor is that?
But is that unusual to previous? I don't know. I'm asking the question because they've always rotated. We've always given him the credit for rotating. So is that unusual from a City perspective?
Not to that extent? That's the second most changes in the league this season.
But the point to that is they can. Some of it may be false, but they can because they have that depth. Yeah. They have great young players in the academy coming out who deserve their chance. But they have wonderful players that they've got. But it's a fully international squad. So utilising that, I think, is the key to keeping everyone happy. And they've been good at doing that over the years. And Nottingham Forest, they're not blessed with the ability to do that. So sometimes you've got to stick with what you have, and they haven't had many injuries.
But is it the injuries to the key players then, particularly in the defensive areas, and changing those ones around rather than the number?
100%. As strong as the squad is, that Rio said, when you get injuries in the same position, you're gonna be affected. So in regards to pretty much all four of the centre halves getting injured at the same time means you have to go and acquire new talent and new players in January, and probably not as experienced as we've seen. But in regards to on the flip side, the Forest point of view, they're playing and preparing for one game a week in the greatest respect. Next season will be a challenge. When you're training and playing for elite level Champions League and the Premier League, that's when it'll become harder.
But looking at the players they've brought in January, what is the future looking like, do you think? Because they've started the rebuild already.
I think it's difficult to say. I think also you've got to think about who may be going. And you've got Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva all getting older. Are they going to stay here? They're going to maintain their relationship here with the club at Man City as well. So that needs to be looked at as well. But I don't think they've brought in bad players. I think these players are just coming into a less stable environment and a less confident squad than the previous recruitment that they've had over the years. So it will look seamless in years gone by compared to right now.
We can get some reaction from the Man City camp now because Ruben Dias has been speaking to Jules.
It is more points dropped, though, in your bid to qualify for the Champions League. For you as players, what would it mean if you weren't to qualify for the Champions League next season?
Well, we're not going to be thinking about ifs and maybes. We know our target, and it is very clear, and we got to push. We got to push, and we got to do our best. We're obviously not used to playing every week as well, and that's a different challenge for us. But we need to make it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jules.
They don't want to talk about ifs or maybes. They need to make it. Do you think they will?
Yeah, as I said, there's still enough games for them to win. There'll still be a tough task for every team they face. No team, as vulnerable as they are, no team's going to look forward to playing Man City. So in regards to them, they'll know what they need to do. They need to win games and find a level of consistency. And as I said, they don't need to dominate teams for 90 minutes in order to get Champions League. They just need to do and be more efficient in front of goal.
Do they make it?
Yeah, you can't really bet against them given what they've been doing the last 4, 5, 6 years. So they have the experience, they have the manager, and they have they've done that, churning that 4, 5 to 10, even more winning games. So they can do that, and I wouldn't bet against them.
Themselves, aren't they, these Forest fans? From where they were last season, 6 points above relegation, beating the reigning champions for the first time since they've been back in the league. And there they are, 3 points behind Arsenal.
It's incredible. I mean, you mentioned a stat before, but 59 points though behind Manchester City last season. Now they're 4 ahead, a 63-point swing, and we're not even at the end of the season yet. Quite incredible. These fans believe. We were sat in amongst the fans. Atmosphere is great. They didn't create too much today, but the best 2 chances really, though. They hit the post, and of course, then they scored at the end. But they stay in games. They stay in games. They don't give many chances away. They defend deep. They tried to nick one on the break, and that's exactly what they did today.
Clear coaching plan that the players carry out?
Well, they have. You know, you have this old phrase, they buy into it, but they have actually bought into this. And it's working for them. And while it's working for you, Steve, you might as well go with it. There's no one don't disagree with it. They know exactly how they play. The players know exactly what's going to happen. The fans know what's going to happen. Yes, there was a little bit of frustration just before half-time that they'd sat in, and sometimes when they'd gone forward, then there wasn't enough support going to them. But overall, it's magnificent. You actually genuinely felt here that there was a goal in the side for them, because Manchester City, as I said, are actually really brittle at this minute. You know, no phenomenal confidence about the side. Players, good footballers, but not great defenders. And now you're talking about time to believe. It's really a time to believe. There's something happening behind me.
Well, when you talk about timing and you talk about the goal scorer, he'll walk in live to join us. Callum Hudson-Odoi, very well played. We're just talking about the atmosphere in the end and what your goal's done there. I mean, how good does that feel again today?
No, it's crazy. I think it's crazy. I think you can tell the crowd's energy is amazing every time we play, and you can tell the energy they give us, it pushes us throughout the game. And as I said, we're buzzing with the win today, but we go again next week as well.
And the way the game was going, did you feel there was a goal in it, as Martin's suggesting?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, the game was opening up, and you can tell that they were trying to push for a goal, which gave us more space on the counter-attack, which we utilised very well. I said Morgan found me excellently, as he always does, and then it was just my job to just try and get the ball in the back of the net, which happened.
Well, this boy did that a few times. He appreciated that finish.
I bet you thought you'd scored one before you did. I mean, it was an unbelievable save from Ederson when you hit the post before then. Did you think it was in?
100%. I even started celebrating a little bit, and I realised he saved it. But yeah, this is an amazing save from him. He done really well there to get a hand to it. And as I said, it's just unfortunate it didn't go in. But the next one came, and as I said, that one went in, so we're buzzing with that as well.
Exactly. I mean, we're talking before as well about probably the 2 saves of the season are in this around this goal. One from your goalkeeper and from Emi Martinez earlier in the season. But even though that chance didn't go in, obviously any goal scorer will tell you, you just keep going, you keep believing.
100%, as I said, you know that another chance will hopefully come in the game, and I think for myself, I have to stay positive and know that at the end of the day, someone will find me. Someone will give me the opportunity to get the ball in one-on-one situation, and which happened today, and I just had to make sure I put it in the back of the net.
Yeah. There's certain moments in the season when you think, actually, it's going to work for us. And way back years and years ago, 100 years before you were even born, Nottingham Forest went to Manchester United at Old Trafford and won 4-0. The first time we thought it was Christmas time. Now there's only 10 games left. You must think, this is it now. Sorry, I'm going to put you under severe pressure for this one, but you must feel it's there.
No, definitely.
Sorry, it's not there, but it's within your grasp.
Hopefully. For us, we're just staying humble as much as possible.
Yeah.
And know that the position that we're in, we should go make sure that we stay positive and keep going and try and battle for every game. Every game's important, and I think...
Did you say humble?
100%.
There's no such thing as young players feeling humble, you know? Not at all, but we'll go with it.
100%, I think that's the word for us. I think we just got to make sure we're staying motivated and humble to the most. I think we've got 10 games left or 11 games, whatever it is, but every game's important. And I think every game we try and get points on the board and making sure that we're doing the best that we can to
Oh, there's no doubt. There's a proper spirit about the side that seems to unfold itself on the pitch here. There's no question about that.
Yeah, you can tell our spirit's always high, and you can tell every game we play, the energy from the crowd, I think, boosts us the most, even home and away. We have a lot of people that come to support us, and as I said, they give us that energy, and we keep going every game and game and game. And hopefully, who knows, at the end of the season where we'll be.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Callum, what was you thinking when you found yourself in that much space? Because I know what it's like as a winger. Sometimes you're trying to find that space. It's not a pairing, and when you do get it, 2-on-1. But you had that around 50 yards out. What was you thinking when you took that first crisp touch?
I think for myself, it was just make sure I'm being direct. And I think for myself, you just got to just get at your fullback and the defence every time. You've got to make sure you're staying positive. And as I said, when that ball came, I think to myself, go for goal, look up, see who's there and around in the box. If you have the opportunity one-on-one, make sure you get past them and get a shot off. So, which happened. I saw Woody, I told him as well, I saw him, no problems, because he was going to get onto me, but I 100% saw him. So it was just me just being positive, trying to get that shot off, which didn't win in.
We were just talking about the way you set up as well. You're well coached. All the players know their job, don't they, in this system? And you've used fewer players than any team this season. You're a real tight together group.
Yeah, 100%. I think everybody knows what their role is. And as I said, the manager's instructed us from the day one. As soon as he came in last season, you can tell what he wants to do in his ideas for the game, every single game. So I think so for myself, it's like, you just got to make sure that you're doing your job properly. Because at the end of the day, someone could be ready to come on and to impact the game as well. So I think all of us, we just know every time we get on that pitch opportunity we get, give it your best for the 100 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever it is, and then who knows what the result will be.
And give us a sense of the belief running through the dressing room at the moment. That's the first time you've beaten the champion since you came back into the Premier League today.
Yeah, well, definitely we're buzzing. You could tell even the atmosphere, as soon as we won, everyone went crazy, and even myself, I was buzzing. So I think we're going to be at this for the next couple of days, just to enjoy it, just to enjoy the moment with family, friends. But as I said, we've got another important one coming up next week before international break. So as I said, we just got to wait and see now, and hopefully things keep going our way.
Make sure you do enjoy it. Very well done today. Thank you very much for joining us, Callum.
Thank you very much.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, the match winner. Big smiles, and why not live for you on Matchday Live here on the road. I mean, he said there, didn't he? Kept on going. 3 goals in 5 games now. He scored at Anfield, let's not forget, in that win as well. He scores big goals as well, doesn't he?
Exactly, they're the important ones, you know. A lot of people can score when it's 5-0 and you score the 4th or the 5th, but when you're scoring and it's 1-0, then they're the big ones. They're the important goals that you've got. So, yeah, that was amazing performance, dogged performance. Wasn't the best games today, but a lot of the time you have to spoil things against Manchester City. They have so much of the ball. I don't care who they're playing, they always have control of the game, but if you can hit them on the break, Martin highlighted it before the game, this is, you know, it could be playing into their hands today. They're not very good, Manchester City, at the counter-attack, and really they didn't defend that goal well, but from Forest's point of view, they keep going to the end. Their fitness levels, as you mentioned, they use the same players. They're all staying fit for the whole season, and I'm sure even if you get the odd knock, Martin, for some reason, players don't seem to get injured when things are going really well.
Yeah.
Or they recover quicker.
No, yeah, experienced that myself. You know, bad run. Oh, I'm afraid I'm staying in the physio's room. But no, you're absolutely right, Michael. The boys want to play, you know.
Right, let's have a look at this save before the goal because, well, you rate it, Shaun, because Michael mentioned the Emi Martinez one. I mean, not far behind that, is it?
For me, I think Callum does everything right here. There's like 3 bodies. I'm not sure how Ederson sees it or reads that it's going to be that low. For me, I don't think he should get anywhere near it, but he gets a solid handful. I would say, what we rate now, like 1 to 10 or 1 to 5?
I
Whatever
think
you want to do, you rate away. I mean, you're the
it's
judge
just incredible,
behind.
isn't it? We've had so many great saves this season, but 2 of the very best in the same goal mouth.
Yeah.
You know, as you mentioned, Emi Martinez and that one from Ederson. So incredible save. You know, Hudson-Odoi probably thought he was putting his team 1-0 up. He had to wait a little bit, but he got it in the end.
And City probably thought, well, that's a wonderful save. We might be the team to grab the goal. But then the question is here, well, you've already answered it really at the end of the game. He makes a magnificent save like that. He'll be bitterly disappointed this has gone past him, won't he?
Oh, he will be, really, because we highlighted it before. Hudson-Odoi gets it. Guardiola's just running alongside him, doing absolutely nothing. He's coming in at a bit of pace, but he beats him at the near post. And having made a save like that, yeah, it's incredible. Within, what, 15 minutes, he's gone the other way for him. So, really poor goal.
I mean, a lot of the time you try to keep players outside the box, don't you, as a defender? And that's fine. Of course, he couldn't get across to keep him outside the box. But once you let him in, you keep him away from shooting distance at least, or you send him down the line, or you keep him, as I say, on a tight angle. Guardiola did absolutely nothing there. He just let him run and run and run towards him until he's in a position where he doesn't even need to beat him. He didn't beat Guardiola then. He didn't go past him. He just shifted out of his feet and shot.
Yeah.
You can't allow as a defender to just a shift and a shot. At least beat me. So you've got to get him out. You've got to keep him far away from the goal there. Really disappointing defending, and goalkeeping was, you know, as you say, he had a moment of magic and then a shocking moment as well.
I have to agree with what they're both saying. I do think Josko could have gone and engaged in that position, at least to get body on body, not to foul, just to try and maybe slow him down, to make him think twice. Because as a winger, when you got that much space, you just go where the space is, and Callum just went with it. Josko gave it to him, and he just took advantage of it. But if he closes that gap, he maybe goes to the line and tries to cross rather than ends up in a box and gets that shot off.
Now, the fans round where we were sitting did have a little bit of a heart-stopping moment right at the end when Mateo Kovacic struck this, Shaun, because when we see the final angle, we see how close it is.
Yeah, and I think that I thought that City were doing well. They were pushing there. They get a bit lucky in there. They managed to keep it alive somehow, and it bounces here. But he catches it so sweet. He's almost cut across it just too much, and it kind of takes it just wide. But it's a great strike because he has Sells beaten there.
Yeah, from side on. I mean, we all thought it was in, didn't we? From side on, you don't get that type of angle. But as Shaun said, just a little fade. He needed to put the fade. It was a really hard technique, that, to keep it down, you know, and to try to find the corner. It's a difficult technique. He did virtually it perfectly. But, yeah, I'm sure most of the fans around here, apart from the ones behind the shot, thought the net's about to bulge.
Yeah. But, I mean, Matt Sells hasn't really had a save of any note to make.
No.
In that game today.
No, that's very, very true. He stopped one from a free kick, but you're right. He didn't have that much. It's not to say, Steve, that had Kovacic scored that goal, that Man City probably, in terms of possession, might have deserved it, you know. And because, as you say, Michael, Forest hadn't created a great deal in the game, but there are always dangers. And the longer the game goes on and a side is trying to press for something, you know Forest are counter-attacking, have a bit of pace there in their side. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and from Forest's situation, that's 12 clean sheets.
Yeah.
We touched on the goalkeeper beforehand as well. In fact, we'll talk about the current Forest goalkeeper in a moment, because the man who was a goalkeeper himself is, of course, the Nottingham Forest manager, Nuno, who's going to join us live now as well. Very well done. Great to see you. Thanks very much indeed.
This is getting boring. Really.
It's a nice boring, Martin. Come on, if you're Nottingham.
Absolutely.
I mean, well done. How good does that feel to beat the reigning champions?
Feels good, especially because of the hard work. The defensive display was great. Not easy to control City. They always going to have chances, but defensively we were spot on.
Yeah, I was just saying, the goalkeeper didn't really have a save of any note to make there today.
Yeah, but the balls were over the bar. They were close. They always going to have chances. It's very difficult to stop them.
Did you feel that at 0-0 you feel you've got a goal in you, like you produced today through Callum?
I think in the beginning of second half, I think we were more open going forward. The game had spaces, and when the game ups and down, we take advantage of our speed. That was important for us. This is how we play.
And you've done amazingly well this season to keep everybody fit, healthy, energised. You've used less players than anybody else in the league. What is the balance between wanting to rest a few players but then keeping that spirit, keeping everybody going the same, and the consistency? How hard is it to find that balance between the two?
It's very hard. But we have the advantage of the schedule. We've not been forced to a very hard schedule compared to other teams in the Premier League. That also plays a big factor. And then having time to rest, the players allow them to totally recover, and also the impact of the players coming on this critical moment of the game, that energy goes down, so we have fresh legs, so we avoid the critical injuries that happen in that situation. But credit for them, because it's about getting ready during training sessions so you can compete well.
Yeah.
I interviewed this young gentleman only a few nights ago, really, against an Arsenal game. And then I threw in a little thing at the end and said, all right, I'm ready for that cup of tea. And unbelievably, people picked up, did you get a cup of tea with him? I said, no, he never invited me for the tea.
You are invited already.
I'm only kidding you, young man. I'm only kidding you. So it was a fantastic win today.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic win. No question about it.
Is this just a mutual appreciation society?
No, absolutely not. Not at all. No, it was just the fact that I was so disappointed I didn't get the tea.
You'll get it, for sure. Okay.
What about the clean sheet as well? I mean, we just mentioned your defensive record. It's been a real foundation this season, hasn't it?
Especially here at the City Ground. I think we've been able to compete really well at the City Ground. Big help from the fans. You can see the noise when we are down in our box and the other team has possession. This voice comes, so the energy comes. But defensively, really good. I truly believe that has to be the first objective.
Yeah. And then on the break, you've got goals. I mean, Callum Hudson-Odoi's got big goals for you. This season. He's got another one today.
It was huge. He had a chance before on the left side that Ederson made an amazing save. It's a 1v1 player. We have to try and unbalance the other team so we can promote these situations.
The dream goes on.
Let's enjoy the journey, day by day.
Enjoy tonight.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Once again.
Nuno there live for you.
Thank you, sir.
Here at the City Ground. You've got to wait for your cup of tea. We've got a few more minutes to do, OK?
Actually, I don't want it.
Pastel del Nata, a little Portuguese cake, that's what you need to take in, and he'll be pouring it, no problem. Where can they go from here, Forest? I mean, we think 5th might be enough. That's a 6-point buffer now for them in that position.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be bare minimum now. I mean, they are thinking
would it be a
disappointment
if they're in the Europa League now?
Absolutely. If you'd said that before the season, they would have laughed
at you. It's a crazy question to
However,
ask,
you've got to realign your thoughts, realign your dreams and ambitions. And now they've got a little buffer between themselves and 4th now, between themselves and Manchester City. Their running isn't too hard either, Steve.
No, I think
a lot of teams they're playing.
8 of the last 10 are teams in the bottom half.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't tell me now that they will be pleased just to come 5th or 6th. They'll be thinking, we can finish 2nd, we can finish 3rd here. With the running that they've got, absolutely they can. And they will deserve it based on what we've seen so far this season. There's no fluke about where they are in the league.
Still seems a surreal conversation to have, doesn't it? That Forest would be disappointed from here to finish 5th.
Yeah, this is not September, October time, Steve. This is now with 10 games left in the season. That buffer that Michael talks about is vast at this stage of the season. And if you tell me that 5 teams go into the Champions League, that would be a massive disappointment from here.
Some story.
it's an amazing story. And I think watching them and hearing the fans, the way they've been playing all season, I think is something they deserve. And right now for them, the sky's the limits. They're, 3 points off Arsenal with most probably a better run in towards the end of the season. You never know what could happen. They might be the team that finishes second and Arsenal might be the team that finishes third.
Extraordinary. All smiles, all positivity as far as Nottingham Forest are concerned here at the City Ground. The other side of the story, though, is the champions, beaten for the 9th time in the league this season. Here's their manager, Pep Guardiola.
Pep, a disappointing result. What did you make of your team's performance?
A tight game. We controlled the transitions really well. We created not a lot of chances, but defend really well. But the first half, we have chances to shoot that were not precise, and at the end, one transition, and we lost the ball, and transition, they scored.
Why couldn't you find a way to score, even with the changes that you made in the second half?
No, it's everyone. It's not for the changes or the lineup.
Any reason for it?
For what?
Any reason why you couldn't find a way to score in terms of the flow of the game?
They defend really well, and we could not find, the precise in the last moment. We could not do it.
It seems that in past seasons, City have always seemed to find a way. So why is that different now?
We have 10 games to qualify. We have to win games to qualify, and we're going to the next one.
What did you make of your team's performance defensively?
We concede few. I think we concede, but really, really few. So defensively was really good. We were not, maybe the rhythm was not the highest one, but yeah, the game was tight.
It's the third time that Ruben Diaz and Kusanov have started a game together. I just wanted to know what you think of Kusanov's progress so far since you've been working with him.
Really well. But we don't have more players, but we played really well. Kusa for the time and Ruben as well.
In terms of what this match means, obviously it's a huge battle in the qualification for Champions League places. The season Forest are having, does it just go to show how much more difficult that's becoming in the Premier League?
We knew it. We knew it before it arrived, and of course the Champions League, the Premier League, every time, every season is better and better.
What positives can you take Pep into the next game against Brighton?
Well, we want to prepare the game. We have 10 finals, and next one we start.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, as he says, he has 10 more games yet to find that way into those Champions League places. As I mentioned, 9 Premier League defeats this season. He's never lost more than that since he came to this country. And as we said before the game, Shaun, these are unusual times for him. He's not used to this. City aren't used to this. Are you still confident they'll be in the Champions League next season?
Yeah, you have to be with a team and a manager that they have. I think they're in a good position to finish in those Champions League places. If I remember correctly, majority of their games are also at home as well, which is always an advantage going there. And if they play the way they have done in recent times, especially like against Newcastle, I can't see why they don't make it into the Champions League.
And as you said, that goal sort of encompasses their whole season at times. Today, Martin.
It really has, yeah. The thing I've noticed about Manchester City this season, obviously they're struggling for confidence, they're struggling for form. But before that, anytime Manchester City, more than any other side, possibly in Europe, when they went back, there was a purpose for them going back, because you felt as if they go back a couple of passes to go forward quickly. Now they go back and it's not coming forward more quickly. If they can't get it out wide, then it's coming back, and the next thing you know, it's back to the centre half, and he's playing. So that's not Manchester City, the side that I have seen over the years. Man City are the one side I felt played with a real purpose. Even back passes looked as if they were forward passes. So from that viewpoint, but some of the players, as Michael mentioned earlier on, the players are getting a little bit older, and are having less consequence in the game. That's the big thing, talking about Bernardo Silva. I can't just no impact in the game. No impact, and not just this game, but for most of the season, no real impact. Has been a great player, so therefore maybe there will be a change then of change of purpose, a change of player, change of personnel, maybe at the end of the season.
And there's a change of aura, because as Forest have proven today, they are beatable. There's 9 teams that have done it this season, and that sort of major fear factor isn't always there at the moment against Manchester City.
Exactly that. And it's very hard to get that fear factor. You know, you work for years and years to develop that fear factor, but at the moment, Manchester City haven't got it. Teams do fancy coming up against them. We saw 9 defeats. We've only played 3/4 of the season. They've already lost as many games as Pep Guardiola has ever done in his career. So, yeah, things need to change. Lots of those ageing players are all in a similar position, all in midfield. A lot of their injuries, all in a similar position at the back. 1 or 2 players to come back, including Rodri, of course, make a big difference. But I don't feel as if they're just going to come back at the click of a fingers at the start of next season. This could be a bit of a rebuild.
OK, gentlemen, we've run out of time. The good news is here, Martin's putting the kettle on.